Welcome back to the channel, guys. I think you know why you're here based on the title and the thumbnail. This is the roast of the 2022 Subaru WRX. I've been wanting to make this video about our slammed, good-looking, maybe not so good-looking Crosstrek, WRX. Well, what do I really mean there? For some time now, I've wanted to make this video. I wanted to let some of the heat die down so I could have some time to reflect on the car, find some honest opinions, figure out whether I love or hate it. I hate it. And, be able to make some content for you guys, because I think that the 2022 Subaru WRX sucks. It looks terrible. It is just a overblown combination of a bad mishap and crash of a Crosstrek and a Civic. That's kind of beside the point because, well, you'll see. Let's talk about the car, and just a disclaimer, I obviously love the WRX. I've got one here. It's my second one. I have a channel. I make content about it. And that's why I'm even more disappointed about the 2022 WRX than most people, because I make content about it, and making content about a car that I'm not excited about is next to impossible. This is going to be one of my last videos about the 2022 WRX until I'm inevitably forced to buy it because of peer pressure and content pressure and creator pressure. But let's finish it off with a decent roast. And this isn't going to be a full, I'm not going to rip this thing apart, but I'm going to talk about some of the worst things about this car, because my God, is it awful. I don't know whether to introduce the hyped up, super hyped up Subaru 2022 WRX by introducing like a Crosstrek Type R, or maybe a bad relationship between Subaru and Honda engineers to create the WRX Civic. I don't know. But I certainly don't want to introduce it as a WRX, especially when I'm sitting next to one. I was going to make this in the studio, and I made the conscious decision to sit next to one so you guys can see the clear difference in, what looks good and what doesn't. The thing is the last generation came out, and when this generation came out, I had my reservations, and that's because I think we don't want change. Nobody wants anything to change, but my God, I've let the change happen, and I don't like it. The only thing I can say is the 2022 WRX, before we start anything here, looks way better in this content from Subaru and from other people, but mainly from Subaru, than it does in person. In person, this car misses the mark completely. So where should we start? Do we start with the Kia Tesla interior with a touchscreen for literally everything? I don't know. We could also start with the absolutely amazing achievement. Subaru figured out how to add 1 horsepower per 0.1 liters of displacement. I think they missed that mark too. I actually can't believe how they got 0.4 more liters of displacement, a 20% increase, and made only 3 horsepower. So that blows my mind. I don't really know what to say about that. It's shocking. I do think there is some intention and there's some economical benefit, but man oh man, did Subaru misunderstand their users. I'll stop bouncing around here. Let's get straight into it. Let's talk about the exterior of this car, because everything's disappointing about the car, but the exterior is what checks all the disappointment boxes for me. If you took a big knife and you chopped the WRX up, right? Some cross sections, some of those sections would look like the WRX, where if you chopped the front off and you chopped after your A-pillar off and you just saw kind of the engine, the scoop, and the wheel, I'd be like, it looks like a WRX. It's got an aggressive, tight fit. It looks planted. It looks great. And then they were like, we're going to take a Crosstrek and a brand new Outback. We're going to fuse them together because we don't want to make new panels, and that's going to be the front of our car. So that was disappointing, and you can tell that's what it looks like. And then somebody must have worked in the Honda Civic rear end department for some time, and Subaru must have then hired that engineer and designer, because it's like that last section, if you took the Subaru badge off and you put a Honda badge, could just be it could just be a rendering of the newest generation Honda whatever. So those are my first complaints. The second complaint is they took every bad aspect to every new sport SUV and stuck it on what I used to call a sports car. And what do I mean there? They took every reflector, well, some reflectors, but every stupid piece of plastic cladding, and they slapped it everywhere on the WRX. And I can't give you one. Usually I can give a reason for most things. Even if they're negative, I can give a reason. I can't tell you why they did this. Well, maybe it's because of cost, but they're losing here, and it looks like crap. And if I was Subaru, making an inference saying, oh, it sells successfully with our sport SUVs, let's put this on our sports car, that's like, it's like comparing a stick to an apple. I mean, that's a bad example, but you can't just make an inference like that to the community that basically defines the Subaru platform. The short answer is the exterior just looks terrible. It's just disappointing in general. Let's talk for a second about the interior. Wow, is that disappointing. They've improved on a lot of things. Then they've taken other aspects from other cars and just, in my opinion, trashed what could have been good. They took the Kia Tesla approach. They took a Tesla screen approach, made it look like a Kia in what they're doing, and then they took out some of the beautiful things about manual controls and mechanical controls. Have you ever tried to change the fan speed and the temperature on a screen while driving? Well, it's very difficult and it's so backwards, and having had some time in a Tesla, driving a Tesla for some time, and other cars, man oh man, do I miss the mechanical controls, the flip switch controls that we have in cars like this. And those things, I hope, we don't lose those in time. I don't have much else to say about the interior because I'm not wowed by it. Everybody's saying Subaru took leaps and made the interior so much better. But think about it, this car had a better interior. It failed at the head unit, but it had the rest there. Like, they were figuring it out, and then they just mirrored that basically and removed the entire center console on the new WRX. And it just isn't what I was looking for. I don't think it's what a lot of us were looking for. I was initially impressed by it, but then in reflection, I was like, this isn't really new technology. We're taking technology from cheaper cars and cheaper technology and technology that just doesn't function as well when you're trying to drive and operate it, and we're putting it in this platform. So why? I mean, why Subaru? So let's forget about the lackluster interior and let's pause with some of the physical attributes. Well, physical attributes. Let's talk about the performance of the car. Subaru was able to wow us all with the FA24 engine, getting 20% more displacement. We went from a 2-liter to a 2.4 liter of displacement. And they were able to get almost 1 horsepower per tenth of a liter of displacement, which is remarkably poor performance. There is no doubt in my mind that the FA24 is capable of delivering far more power, and in the aftermarket tuning community, we are going to see more power because of that bigger displacement. But why Subaru? Why could they not have delivered more power from the factory? I'm sure there's some ratings and EPA stuff, but it is just no longer competitive, and from the factory, it is now getting closer to cars like the Toyota 86, which we don't regard as a sports car. Well, we regard it as a sports car, but all about cornering and, you know, that small coupe feel and hitting corners and not being fast, but their 0 to 60 times are starting to get close, and we're losing that drive and the performance and the competitiveness of this car. I don't really want to talk about the performance anymore because I'm so sour about it. There's absolutely nothing to talk about. I don't care that Subaru says the torque curve's better, the power curve's better, the responsiveness is better, the spool's better. Who cares? We're gonna feel that a little bit, but if you care about that, you're gonna tune this car anyways and do exactly what Subaru doesn't want you to do. And it's been 20 years in the making that Subaru needs to understand that if you want those things that they're trying to build into the car, the person's gonna go to the aftermarket to get that. And I don't understand at this point why Subaru can't understand that. And I'm taking a harsh opinion because I like a lot of things that Subaru's just done in the last 20 years with this platform. I love the Subarus, but with 20 years experience on what they want and what their end user are, and specifically what drives the Subaru community, they're failing us. Let's talk about the least contested item that I hate, the taillights and the headlights, but the taillights. If you cut off the rear of the car, it's like you took a Civic engineer from the 2015 plus Civic or whatever it was, fired them, Subaru hired them, and Subaru said, put our badge on your most recent design. I mean, it really could be a rendering for another Honda insert model name, right? The taillights don't look good, the rear of the car doesn't look good. Anyone that says it looks good also enjoys another platform. I like the WRX and the STI because it gives me a specific JDM look vibe. It defines what I'm going. You guys know what I mean. I don't have to sell you on this. I'm sure you understand what I mean. The headlights. The headlights are an interesting one for me. At first I said, they don't look too bad. I don't think they look too bad. Have you ever wanted a chocolate chip and gotten a mini chocolate chip? What do I mean by that? Well, analyzing this car and thinking about things that I wanted to talk about in this video, I realized that the headlights are incredibly small compared to other vehicles and the current generation WRX. Take a second and look at the photo up on the screen right now and look at proportionally just how small the headlights are. And with that, I've started to, it's like the thing that I have to focus on, because now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. And overall, it makes the front of the car a little bit of a bummer. So look, I don't want to bore you. I know this was a roast from a Subaru enthusiast. And it wasn't full blown. I'm not trying to crush this car, and I'm not trying to make this as a joke. This is supposed to be somewhat serious, because these are all real concerns that I and many of us have, and hopefully maybe one day someone from Subaru will watch one of my videos, because hopefully I deliver pretty unbiased opinion and content. That's what I'm trying to do. And I know saying I hate it is biased inherently by what I just said, but I'm a super fan. And if you're not listening to what your super fans have to say, there's something to be said about that. Now, Subaru is bringing a lot of things to the WRX that are impressive, like its ability to corner and its improved suspension and that whole aspect of what a sports car is, not the 0 to 60. But the problem is the BRZ and the 86 deliver that. And if you really want that, you're gonna go with the BRZ and the 86, and that's the more fun car to be in, the smaller, lighter coupe, if you're going after those things. So what I don't understand is, you think Subaru would understand its customer basis, because you think I would be wrong, and you think that we wouldn't all be disappointed. But I truly believe there's some disconnect between Subaru and what they understand from the consumer basis. And I think that Subaru is undervaluing the opinion of their WRX and STI market, which, although is small in relation to the rest of the cars they sell, that's the people that are the enthusiasts. Those are the people that define the platform. Those are the people that sell non-Subaru people to buy Subarus, because they could potentially achieve the all-wheel drive. They could potentially achieve this feature. More often than not, when you see a WRX and STI enthusiast, they're the ones pushing their family, their friends, their colleagues, their coworkers to buy Subarus. And if you lose that, that market disappears. And what I don't understand is the fact that Subaru doesn't get it. I have to take a deep breath, because you can tell that I'm frustrated. You can tell that I'm baffled by what happened. And although I'm still impressed with some of the aspects of the WRX, I think overall that the 2022 WRX is a flop. You know, let's bring the video to a close, because I could just keep complaining, and I know to some extent you guys don't want to hear me complain. Hopefully calling this a roast will at least get you guys through some of my complaints, because I like to complain. This is my therapy session about something that I've been looking forward to for years, right? I've been looking forward to, if you follow the channel, I've been looking forward to and making content about the next generation WRX for like 3 years now, pretty avidly, pretty excited. You know, I've been keeping up with it actively, and it was like one of the largest letdowns that I've had in some time now. I was really excited to see something more, and I think the STI might deliver that, but if they don't deliver it, I'll always have this generation in my driveway, and if I ever have a break, I'll always get one again. This car will be part of me, this platform will be part of me for the rest of my life and my automotive life, and that's never gonna change. But if the STI doesn't wow a lot of people, I may not get past this generation. I may not test a new generation. I might for some time make content, but in the long term, it's not gonna have my love the way this car does. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.